All right, on today's Which Word of the Day, Kevin, I'm so excited for this one. It fits in so many different ways. You've heard that before. This is called plur viewing, or as most people would call it, parallel viewing. So
There you go.
I thought
Okay,
this was
cool.
fitting because this is a very Julian McMahon episode. This is one where we talk a lot about Cole, and of course, Cole got vanquished in a parallel dimension. It also talks about how Julian McMahon was in Fantastic Four, which is also in a plur dimension. Parallel viewing is the power to see into parallel dimensions. So there's a quote here. Dreams are windows into the lives of our multiversal selves. Stephen Strange, MCU.
The nerdgasm of the century.
Put that on a shirt.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
Can you hear the words of the witches? Yeah, the words of the witches.
Welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published lore of the Charmed universe.
In this night and in this hour, we call upon our fanboy power, bringing education and stupefaction to all of you.
Together, we will use our knowledge and reverence abundantly, but also find ourselves sassy and delightful.
Which is why we will truly be charmed.
Hello, everybody. This is Words of the Witches, episode 153. I am Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, but not the Sean that you're used to. I'm Plur Sean from another dimension.
And we also have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm A.M. Diaz. I am your resident blue fuzzy elf, and for one time I'm not blue.
Yes, a very renowned Nightcrawler cosplayer. So we're kind of stealing you from the X-Men universe to come to the Charmed universe.
And I'm happy to be here because I love Charmed. I was there on day one.
Oh, good!
Wow.
Yay, me too. Tell us about your Charmed discovery. What got you into it?
Well, this was way back when, the WB still had their own channel and all that stuff. And it was one of those, just there was the commercials, Buffy was around the same time and whatnot. And it was just witches, a show about witches. I remember that first trailer where we saw Shannon Doherty, Alyssa Milano, and Holly Combs. And, it was very, not what the show became. Originally it looked very, gothic and very, creepy and all that.
Yeah.
And, I'm a young little gay boy, and I'm like, oh, witches, yes, please. I'd like 3 servings of that. And yeah, no, I absolutely fell in love with the series in the first episode. Just, the dynamic between the sisters was so interesting and so fun. It was a bunch of actresses that I had grown up with previously, Who's the Boss and 90210. But yeah, no, it's like I remember them from those shows, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this, and absolutely loved it, especially as the series progressed. It had its ups and downs, but it was always entertaining.
I'm glad. Who's your favorite sister?
Oh, that's such a loaded question, because it changed with the seasons. First season, and arguably second, Shannon Doherty's Prue was, my favorite. I loved that just kind of beleaguered older sister energy. After they switched out, Phoebe became one of my favorites for a little while, but it kind of quickly became, I'd probably say, season 3 and 4. Holly Marie really stood out for me because I loved her stepping up into the role. But towards the end, honestly, it was probably Paige at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
What fun. What a journey. I love that.
Well, yeah, because it was each one, they would get to certain points. I mean, there were times where I started to get annoyed with Phoebe and Piper, because they were kind of oh, my personal life over.
Especially those later seasons, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like,
Mhm.
oh. And then you got Piper, who's like, oh, she still remembers what it's like to actually want to help people. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
That's kind of I feel about Billie. I feel like she was the voice of reason in the beginning of season 8 when the rest of them were kind of being very selfish and in their own little world and lazy. Billie's like, hello, people. I was like, isn't this what you stand for? So, cool. Yeah, you saw the Fantastic Four movie early. How was your Fantastic Four experience?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. Literally. No, it's big shout out to Nerd Alert Cosplay. Jason invited me along, and it was just so great. We got to be on the blue carpet. A whole bunch of our friends were there. And, a sea of blue because we were all dressed up like different Fantastic Four characters. I decided to be the outlier and dress up like Franklin Richards in his teenage powerhouse form.
Nice.
I had my costume was a deep cut. Most people didn't recognize the costume. I was carrying
You got
around
the
with me the blue ball. Yes, I was carrying around the blue ball from the post Onslaught storyline where he created an entire pocket dimension to save the Avengers and Fantastic Four. I don't think anybody except the most hardcore Marvel nerds realize that. And we got to see the majority of the actors. I got my lanyard signed by nearly every single one of the actors except Pedro Pascal.
Mm.
We almost got him, and then they pulled him away at the last minute,
Oh,
and everyone was really sad.
yeah, that's a bummer.
But the movie was fantastic. It was just so... Honestly, it felt like the truest version of the Fantastic Four. No spoilers or anything like that, but anybody who's familiar with them, the family dynamic, the relationships, and they all felt really true to the comics, but they also did new things with each of the characters. So they didn't just stick with how they were presented in the comics. They let each character kind of expand into a different aspect of their personalities, which I really appreciated.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Sean mentioned Julian McMahon, who was in the 2000s as Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Michael Bailey Smith, who played Balthazar Shax and the Source. He was in that 1994 Fantastic Four, and I saw him at the premiere too. I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, they had the entire original four members of Fantastic Four from the '94 movie. There, I actually got a picture with the original Sue Storm.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So our Balthazar was the original thing, which is fun. So, yeah. So I love that. I love the connections. But let us move on to our poll from last week, the results. Sean, what was the question I asked?
Would you want to see a Billie spinoff?
A Billie spinoff.
I'm kind of torn because on one hand, I didn't hate Billie as much as other people did. I remember how much hatred she got, but I'm not entirely sure what they would do with her in a spinoff. You know, especially with how it kind of ended for her at the end of the series, where she was kind of like the nanny.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. She's like, my sister's dead. I'll watch your kids.
Yeah, honestly, that was the hard. I felt so bad for Billie in that last episode because her sister dies. She's there crying, and the sisters are just kind of looming over her, going like, "The day is saved."
Yeah, they're like, "This is awkward."
Exactly. Should we leave? And then they just basically are like, "Hey, Billie, you don't have anything else to do. How about you watch our kids?" So it's like, I mean, they could probably do something with her trying to get past the death of her sister and whatnot, but. It's just kind of like I kind of feel like if she did do something, I want her to kind of have just a normal life.
Yeah, Sean said he would like to see a spin-off series. I said maybe. I said my initial thought would be no because I'm like, I don't know what they would do with it, but I feel like if they did do something smart with it, I would definitely be watching it, and so that's why I said maybe because I'm just curious to see what they would do with it. But how would you guess the masses would have voted?
I feel like there's still a lot of hate towards Billie, so I'm kind of imagining a lot of people would say no.
Okay. Sean, do
I'm
you
going to say
agree?
yes.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say yes. More charmed is more charmed.
So I put this poll on Instagram and on YouTube. So I'll do the YouTube one first, since we get less people voting on that one. We had 20% say yes, 30% say maybe, and 50% said no on YouTube.
Wow.
And on Instagram, we had 42 votes, 15% say maybe. We had 50 votes, 19% say yes, and 177 votes, 66% said no.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
They, yeah, a lot more. Everyone's like,
I've always said this. I don't think Billie deserves the hate that she got.
no.
But her introduction was kind of hilarious. The black leather, the wig,
Yeah.
She
techno
was
strung. I think they
extra.
had.
She was extra. She had her like digital mouse, scrying mouse for her computer, and she would always
Exactly.
do flips across the banister like woo. She was extra.
You can just
That's why I
you're
loved
watching the
her.
episode and you can kind
I
of
know.
hear the executive producers go, "We need to go for the extreme."
But I did get a few comments about this poll, and so I want to read some of them because I think they're interesting. I got it on both sides. So Jerem on Instagram says, yes, I'd watch a spinoff. The fans hate her, but Billie was such a good addition to the show. I think I'm the only one who loves Christy.
Ew.
I know. He says that I love. It was a new villain for the Charmed Ones. No demons, just witches. Fans didn't like that, but me, I loved the new big bad villain, fresh and new. Christy was evil, raised by villains since a kid. Of course, she was so bad. Then we had J3 Lion on Instagram say, "No, East Coach her bitch ass."
Okay.
Because that's what they did with Daryl. They made him move to the East Coast. Like, East Coast her bitch ass.
Poor Daryl.
and-
He deserved better.
I
than
know.
that.
Right?
Yeah.
Another. Speaking of, Legion Ivory says, I often forgot she existed. Honestly, I would have loved a Daryl spinoff. A normal guy dealing with supernatural threats would have been dope. So, yeah, interesting. I do have a bit of manner keeping.
You can't just vanquish an entire house, especially not our house. People are gonna notice.
Manner keeping.
Well, the problem isn't the manner. It's the manner in which it was treated.
A good witch is a clean witch.
So there's been some interesting Charmed news. Yes. At first, it actually happened while we were in Minneapolis at Mall of America. I first saw the little Charmed bag. At like, was it a Hot Topic or a Spencer's? I was like, Charmed? Quoi? Like, do I buy it? And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, I'll take pictures. Do I buy this? I don't know. Well, the truth is, and then after we got back, because it was on the shelves early, it wasn't supposed to be released yet. And this is Loungefly. Loungefly is very notorious, very well known for their Disney bags. They're all over Disney. But they have new Charmed bags. They have two. One is Book of Shadows Light Up a Mini Backpack for $80. And it has the little Book of Shadows on there. It lights up. There's like a little crystal zipper on it and like this leather twist wrap, which looks really good. And then they have the Charmed Power of 3 convertible backpack and tote crossbody bag for $85. That was the one we saw in the store. And that one can be a backpack and can be a handle bag. It can be a strap bag. It's really cool. They have a triquetra, like little green leather. And that has a triquetra zipper. But yeah, official Charmed merch. And it is available.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, and I bought them both.
There was no impulse control there. It was just like must have.
Exactly. But there's another piece of information, because this is Words of the Witches and we are covering Charmed Publishings, a new Charmed guidebook of sorts has been released. It came out July 13th, 2025, so very recently. And it's called The Power of Three, A Watcher's Guide to Charmed by Giles Fairweather, which sounds like a fake name. And so I had concerns about this. Yeah, it seems like it came out of nowhere without any warning, suddenly, which brings some red flags. And there is one review on it on Amazon, and it says it was reviewed just 2 days ago. It says, terrible and offensive AI slop. Avoid at all costs. This is a scam of AI written material complete with fake quotes.
Oh, okay.
So
will you be buying it?
that is the question I would like to propose. Because we are a podcast covering all published materials. Do we cover this on the podcast?
I think it could be fun. I think
it
it
could be fun too.
Yeah, I mean, that the fact that it's so inaccurate, so horribly just thrown together. Oh yeah, this is like just doing a parody,
right?
But...
And the cover has like a very generic looking house. It's not Hallow Manor. It looks kind of like the Sabrina Spellman's house. It's an AI generated image for sure. So I'm curious. All right, so let's get into our magazine. This week we are covering Charmed magazine number 9 with the headline Phoebe Unleashed. And it was published January 24th, 2006. Edited by Kate Lloyd, with designers Caroline Grimshaw, Simon Christophers, and Marcus Scudamore, with writers Kate Anderson, Phyllis Ungerleider, David Walden, and Ian Spelling. And this magazine features Alyssa Milano, Girl Interrupted. We get another interview with her. We have Bye Bye Brian. We talk about Brian Krause's last day. We have the set report where we talk about setting the scene for Kill Billie Volume 1. And then we have a little Kaley Cuoco interview, a Julian McMahon feature, and then we have Ask Brad and Make Your Own Book of Shadows, Demon Source, Classic Charmed, Location, all that jazz. So here we go. Sean, tell us about the news. Oh, wait, actually, right. I do want to read this one little, because there's an editor's note. This is the first magazine that has an editor's note. It says, hey folks, I don't usually say hi at the beginning of an issue. I prefer to let the Charmed cast and crew do the talking. But this is a very special time in the Charmed universe, and I feel I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that. What I am talking about? Well, after more than 7 years with the show, Brian Krause, aka Leo Wyatt, has officially left the building, at least for now. Although there's a chance he'll be back for the season finale, nothing's definite, and I just want to take the chance to say thanks to Brian for helping make Charmed one of the best shows on television. He'll be sorely missed. While I'm at it, make sure you check out the new look news section from page 6. My fantastic designer Caroline has redesigned it in the style of Phoebe's newspaper, The Bay Mirror, complete with adverts and magical facts direct from the Charmed world. We hope you like it. So our Charmed news has a new look. If you
Yay.
Got it.
So the Farewell Leo page, when I went to go read it today, it's very blurry, so I couldn't read it. But I imagine
I was having trouble with that
too. I imagine it's just more of the same, because they talk about it a lot in this book. So is it just basically like Leo's leaving, 10 episodes, hopefully he comes back?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying it'll be his last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that period too, where they wrote him out of the show, but they kind of left it really open-ended to bring him back.
Yeah. And we're right in that period right now when these books are being released. These magazines are being released. So time travel.
Yep. The next page talks about series or season finale. So they talk to Brad Kern about, like, is this really it this time? And he kind of says in a way, like, I kind of hope it is, and it probably is, because he's like, I feel like we gave it an ending. All the girls' contracts are up. Like, I don't really see us being renewed again since we're so expensive. Although he does point out that, like, they're still number 5 on the network, which is really high, going strong. So numbers are good. Show expensive.
Yeah.
So probably not. Right. And then we have My Fair Liz. About Liz Fair. And about how she came onto the show. and how for a artist, like, this was very different for her because she had to start at 7:45 a.m., which usually, you know, when you're a rock star, you come in at like 7:45 p.m. But she's the mom, so she's like, I'm used to, you know, early mornings, late nights, whatever. I'm a mom rock star. I know what's going on. And her band performed Somebody's Miracle on the show. And this story was so cute. Phoebe's wedding dress. So they said that they couldn't choose a wedding dress for her on the show because they wanted something very like old school, but still like beautiful at the same time. And the costume designer, Daniela Geschwander, was going through her.
How did that go again?
Geschwander. She was going.
And that's a Swedish chef?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was going through her aunt's things because her aunt was moving and she found this dress. She was like, good God, this dress is too small to ever fit anybody. But Phoebe was like, I don't eat. Like, I'm good. So she brought it in for Alyssa Milano, and Alyssa tried it on, and it was like a perfect fit without having to do any modifications.
Yeah.
The only thing is, Alyssa was like, the bone is sticking into me. Not that way, you perverts. I know what you do. And then Alyssa loved the dress. The show loved the dress and ended up making the cut. And the aunt was just very like happy that her dress was featured on Charmed. So it was a cute little story.
It's very cool. This is the Rewitched, the one she married Dex in. And there it is on the costume designer's aunt. Or actually, it was a costume designer. It's Daniela, somebody else who was a costumer. It was her aunt, but she worked with Daniela. But yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
What a fun little story.
How many wedding dresses did Phoebe go through?
I mean, there was the Millie Platt fiasco.
There was the Cole, the brainwashing one, where she was kind of like, weren't they like brainwashed
Frankie
or
and Lulu one.
tricked into getting married?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was oh god, the Cupid. What was his name?
Coop.
Cup.
Cup.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for that character, but it's just, he did not leave much of a, much of an impression on me.
Obviously.
No, it's very valid. In the show, he had very little screen time, and it wasn't used wisely. You do come to appreciate him more in the comics.
Yeah. This last story is talking about, it was Lostos Leos, or Via Con Leos, right? That is talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is where death comes for Leo, and then Piper uses magic to make like every guy look like Leo. So it talks about like the behind the scenes. They had like 12 people who looked like Leo, so they would shoot them from the back, and if you look closely, you might be able to see which ones. And then they also had like a green screen where they would have Leo just change. I think he changed, was it 40 times?
He had 40 different Leos in the scene.
Yeah. And he would just walk back and forth in like different outfits, and then put it all into one composite scene. So that's kind of the magic behind Via Con Leos. And then there's this cute little
that was one of like the sillier send off episodes.
Yeah, it was fun
because like, all right, this is his last major appearance, and we're just gonna have a bunch of little people or a bunch of people dressed up like Leo. And I was always kind of wondering, they made all the men look like Leo, right? Did the kids look like Leo too? Were there like a bunch of like 3-foot Leos walking around town?
They didn't show them, but it would be funny if they were.
Yeah, we never saw the boys. And I was just like, what do they look like right now? I kind of want to see what's going on there.
Does it affect children, or is it only adult men? I don't know if they were clarified on that. But yeah. There's one thing about the Liz Fair section that bothered me. It's because they're asking her questions like, "Do you have any advice for Piper?" Like, I'm like she cares. She doesn't give a fuck about these characters. It's like, I'm just here to sing a song. Leave me alone.
Alrighty. Well, with Alyssa Milano, it's talking about how she was progressing from being, the young white-eyed ingenue character who is fully believing in magic and going into adulthood. So, she was talking about how happy and relieved they were when they brought the series back from for another season, because the previous one ended with them like blowing up the house and taking on new identity, so they kind of thought it was over at that point. But she was saying that they didn't feel like they were finished and that they, might have like their best season ever, which there's debate on that from public opinion, as I understand.
Yes. This article with Alyssa, I feel like it didn't really offer much that we didn't already know or talk about or gather from being fans.
Yeah, because they were just kind of fixated on the whole baby obsession.
Mhm.
So she's like, I gotta find a man, I gotta find a baby, I gotta... my vision said I'm gonna have a baby.
I maybe go to a sperm donor.
I don't know what's going on with her, but maybe she should go to a sperm bank because she doesn't have a lot of time to find the man. Because, I don't know, but because I know Rosa said it and I said it, but we're definitely leaving after this season. It's like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like during that thing, it just felt Phoebe felt really chaotic during that
Yeah.
period. Like she was manic about this sort of thing.
Yeah. Like, just be, girl.
Like the entire time she's like, I need to go on dates right now. Billie, you handle all of this stuff.
I'm ovulating. Put it in me now.
I mean, she was even avoiding work, which for many years she would like make excuses. I have to go to work. I have to go to work. And season 8, she's like, I don't care about work anymore. I just need a baby.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, it's like during the entire time she started working at the paper, that was her fixation. Like, I can't save the day. I've got to go write my article. And now it's like, screw that. I gotta have a baby right now. Her priorities shift so interestingly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she talks about Kaley being a great addition, missing Brian, and missing Dorian too.
Oh, next is the Bye Bye Brian. Bye Bye Brian. Okay. This talks about Leo's farewell episode and farewell party. November 4th, 2005 was Brian's last day. So after they got done shooting in the morning, they had a little party and everybody was there. His parents showed up. I love that. Look, because I don't think I've ever seen his parents before. So in this picture, you get to see his dad right there. And then we see his mom right on this side. There she is. It's so cool. Mommy and Daddy Krause.
It's nice of them to all come out and support him.
Yeah, it is really nice. We have see Rose here kissing him on the cheek. They had a piñata. They had barbecue. So that sounds really fun. And and then there's the part that says Leo's best bits, which I'm like, oh my.
Oh my.
So they have like a list of some of the best moments with Leo. Number 1, in marrying Piper. 2, becoming an elder. 3, killing Gideon. 4, the birth of Wyatt. It's like, you mean I got a boy? 5, becoming Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. I haven't felt this potent in years. There's little quotes, yeah. And then number 6, becoming an avatar. So yeah, nice little shots of him on his party day.
He went through so many career fields. It's like angel, bartender, angel again, elder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, avatar.
It's like, okay, so
yeah.
Then kind of angel again.
Yeah.
I mean, after the Avatar thing, he was kind of still a white lighter, but then they cut his wings again, and
then he fell from grace, and he was mortal for the rest of this time until he got a sword and grew wings in the comic books.
Oh yeah.
All right, setting the scene. So this one is kind of 3 people's perspective on Kill Billie Volume 1. We talked to Michael Grossman, who's the director, Noon Orsatti, who's the stunt coordinator, and fuckface Brad Kern. So Noon Orsatti talks about how the scene where he's like choking the shapeshifter and like how they kept having to do the scene. And I guess like he got in there and was like, no, do it like this. And everybody was like, should we recast to have you do it?
Actually, was acting out like the frightened girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they'd have to switch the actors out to have them like shapeshift and of course do it in post. So it sounds like he was really like concerned about safety and really had a view of like how he wanted stuff done, which is pretty cool. Brad Kern talks about how this episode is a big shift for Billie because this is where we get her backstory when we're supposed to start liking her. And for the record, I always liked Billie. I thought she was a fun character. It was Christy. It was fucking cunty Christy that I hated.
And Billie started
Christy the cunt.
And Billie started to suck once Christy came into the picture because that's all her focus was. She's like, all I care about is my sister, and I'll believe everything she says.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she became so easily corrupted once her sister came
did.
along. It was
What
just
happened to the smart girl that I knew before? You know,
It's like, doesn't take much, does it?
And then we talk about Michael Grossman talks about the scene between Dex and Phoebe and how he didn't want it to be like, this is funny to me. He didn't want it to be too serious, but he didn't want it to be too lighthearted. I'm like, okay, so what do you want it to, where does that land? So he would come and
Just
like
right in
coach
the
them
middle,
in between like takes to make sure like it was kind of silly, but like not too silly, I guess. So yeah, just a lot of thought going into making sure the show is exactly how they want it to be. It was interesting.
Yeah. There's this one little article here with spelling producer Jonathan Levin, but it is the most basic questions with the most basic responses. It was pretty pointless to be in here. I was really mad at them. Like, okay, why?
I feel like they went to interview him on his lunch and he was like, whatever, just here's an answer.
Exactly. Like, why even ask these
He's
questions?
answering through a mouthful of turkey.
Yeah. How do you like the people? I'm like, I don't care. Get out of here. Oh, Rosario Dawson was on set too for this episode. We had Brad Kern and Rosario Dawson. They both happened to visit the set at this point because she was dating Jason Lewis.
Oh, nice. I love Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm. And she was reading the script for Clerks 2 while she was watching her boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, what fun. The finished episode of Kill Billie Volume 1 aired on October 30th, 2005, which is my birthday, and I just turned 18 in 2005.
Wow.
Do you consider that a birthday present?
Sure, I mean, this...
Like, how did you like that episode?
It's a great episode. It really is. It's a good one. The Dogen is such a fun villain. I loved him with his fandom of the opera. You know, there he is. Look at him. Oh, Dogen.
I'm gonna be honest though, the mask they gave him kind of gave me Power Rangers villain.
It is. It's very Power Rangers villain, and maybe that's why I was just like, I dig it. Because it is something that he added himself. It's not like part of his face. It's something that he's like, I'm fan of the opera. I have a scarred eye. Don't let anybody see. So I'll put this Halloween store thing on.
He brought it from home. It's like, my kids made it, so I'm gonna put it on.
And if you remember, when he's vanquished, it's the one thing that remains. It's like, it falls to the floor.
Again, very Phantom of the Opera right there.
Yeah.
All that was missing was one of them like lifting it up and looking at the audience while they're holding it like in the musicals.
Yes. Oh, and Michael Grossman, I want to say Grossman all the time. Grossman. He directed Charmed Noir and The 7-Year Witch and Freaky Phoebe in season 7, and then he did Kill Billie Volume 1 and Generation Hex in season 8. All right, AM, we got our more Make Your Own Book of Shadows section here.
Yep. This is kind of fun, the whole idea that they take these pages and you can make your own Book of Shadows. Although I'm like, I don't imagine the Book of Shadows would be on magazine paper, but, you know,
Right.
modern times. You know, you turn a page and you've got like an ad for buying the next. It's like, my Book of Shadows has ads.
It says Smallville on it.
I know you're trying to find answers about demons, but here's a picture of Tom Wellington. Yeah. He's got his shirt open.
Ooh, I like that spell.
All right, so for this series of pages, it's of course got the how to make your book, and looks like we've got a fun drawing of Javana. And on the connecting page, we have the Guardians of the Hollow drawing. So,
yes,
did they ever factor in. I can't remember them appearing in the
They were in Charmed and Dangerous
show.
You know, when the source goes to steal the hollow, and he comes up to them and he just kills them.
Oh, right. Because it was a white lighter and a.
Well, it's an angel and it's like an angel and a demon kind of persona.
Yeah, nicely rendered artwork.
And they do show up in the comics again too, but.
Oh yeah, the comics brought back everyone. Then on our next page, hand fasting. I think Cyclops and Jean Grey did that when they got married.
They might have.
Yeah, they actually had that. They were holding hands and they like wrapped the thing around it.
Heart to thee, body to thee, always and forever. So mote it be. So mote it be. Okay.
But that's a cute little thing to add in. Although, is it really something for the Book of Shadows, or is that?
Oh no, this is
it doesn't really say if it what benefits it does.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's in the book. It's just telling you how to get married.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which is very much believe in the social contract of marriage.
Exactly. Although one thing that's interesting about hand fasting, like actual hand fasting, it only lasts as long as love still exists. So if you do fall out of love, your hand fasting is null and void kind of thing. So it's actually a lot healthier than marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, cute.
Doesn't cost you $400 to get out of.
And then we
right.
Yeah, where does the lawyer page come in?
Yeah.
And next we have what I think we would all really appreciate right now, an instant karma spell.
Yes.
Seriously, why didn't they use this more often in the show?
This is the spell that Paige cast that made her grow the big boobs. And she doesn't actually say this spell on screen. She flips to the page, and then we see the aftermath. So we don't actually see her perform this spell. And it's funny because she talks about how she changes the word demon to dirtbag, but demon is not actually in the spell itself. It just has it as a descriptor. So that's another fun thing about this spell.
All right, and next we have the Maslin page. Did they pronounce that right?
Maslin and Kaley, yeah. And that's only one half of the page too. There is another half that goes on that's not included yet.
Oh, is it connected on another page?
I don't think so. No, maybe next issue.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
They do it that way because of the way the book goes together. So once you bind it, it shows together.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They failed. The next issue has the exact same page. So,
oh no!
It's gonna be fun.
And that concludes the pages for the Make Your Own Book of Shadows.
Okay. Very nice.
Honestly, I know this had been a thing. I might have collected this series when it was coming out.
I mean, yeah, because these were the first times you could get those scans. Next, we have Teen Witch, Kaley Cuoco. This is Kaley's feature, her first ever feature in the magazine. And they talk to her while she is filming. And she has practicing with her nunchucks, her foam-covered nunchucks, while people watch her. And she's like, yeah, I keep hitting myself and I get bruises. She's like, I'd be down for a spinoff. Yeah, and they asked her, because I feel like Charmed Magazine is really hungering for a Billie spinoff. They keep asking all the time and bringing it up all the time. And she's like, yeah, I'd come back if they let me, I guess, but we're not talking about it right now, but sure.
Instead, let's reboot it.
Yeah.
They say. And we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Oofta. This is where we hear producers say that Billie was written with Kaley Cuoco in mind. And Kaley says that she wasn't a regular Charmed viewer and knew nothing about it. So both of those statements contradict what Brad Kern recounted last issue about that he picked her simply because she was excited to be on the show. I was like, oh, okay, Brad.
I mean, she might have been excited just because, a gig's a gig.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it could all be true, but Brad was definitely misleading when he talked about it, or he had no memory about it. She recounts about how she first met the girls on the photo shoot when they were doing the season 8 promo photos. That's the first time she met everybody. And she said everyone said hi, but she was so grateful how Alyssa responded, because Alyssa hugged her, kissed her on the cheek, and said, "I'm so glad you're here." And this is something that she has recounted, after Big Bang Theory. It's something that she remembers about Alyssa, and she takes with her on her future projects, and so that's really cool that that left an impression like that. And then she says that the crew gifts her with peppermint patties. She keeps finding
that was
boxes. She's like, "I'm in heaven." She comes onto the set. She's like, because she doesn't know a lot of the witch lingo, so she's like, "Why are we calling this an athame? It's a knife." People,
Yeah.
And that made me laugh. They're like, "It's an athame." She's like, "Okay."
It's a knife-a-may.
Right. She's like, "Yeah, the dialogue is so difficult for me. So all these witchcraft words." And then she says that she doesn't want to look at the dailies. She doesn't want to see herself. But she said there was one time where she watched, because there was a take where the door flew open when she wasn't expecting it, and she thought it was just a rehearsal, and she was so scared. She was just genuine shock. She's like, "Oh!" And of course that's the one they use. She's like, because it's the best. It's the real reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's Kaley for you so far. It was cute.
This one is source in perspective. It gives kind of a recounting of the source over the season. So one of the interesting things it said is that compared to all the other demons, like Barbarous or Balthazar, the other demons all kind of have a sense of humor or like kind of a funness about them, even though they're evil. But the source is just pure evil. He's always grumpy. He's always a bitch. He doesn't crack any jokes. He's just a bitch. And it recounts how the source, it's not a person, it's an energy that goes into a person. So it talks about the different, people who have been possessed by the source, including Cole, how the seer kind of tricked him into taking on the source, and he thought he could tame it, but it took him over. So yeah, basically just a recap of the source and what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't that interesting.
Out of curiosity, were any of you guys really disappointed when you saw what the source looked like? The previous host? And he takes off the hood and you finally see his design.
You mean Chester Bennington's source? Yeah, a little bit. Just because the earrings were so modern, like it just took me out of feeling anything for him.
He stopped by Claire's on the way to perform evil. I don't know. It's just I just always kind of felt like never take the hood off. He's always creepier when he's got the hood on. The minute they took it off, I'm like,
because your imagination,
okay,
makes it so much worse.
It really does. It's like when you see that M. Night Shyamalan movie about the alien, but the minute you have that footage of the alien walking onto the screen, it's like, oh, that's what we're afraid of.
Yeah.
Reliving the magic of something Wicca this way comes. So this one talks about the first episode that aired on October 7th of 1998.
You were there!
With the original UK air date of January 13th, 1999. Wow. They had a bit of a delay there. After the death of their gran, the girls, Phoebe comes back to see her sisters Prue and Piper, and they're reunited, but there's family drama because Phoebe was the wild one, and Prue didn't like that. And then you had Piper in the middle trying to be the peacekeeper, which, when you look at later Piper, it's like, no, she's not the peacekeeper anymore.
No. She became Holly Marie Combs.
She will burn this world to the ground if you piss her off. And that's why she was my favorite for a little while. Oh, I forgot Andy was part of this. I always forget Andy was a thing, He was so prominent in the first season, and then, only a couple of name mentions.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got a Did You Know? The headline of the newspaper Prue is holding at the end says, "Police Doubtfire was accidental." This is a prop from the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, which starred Robin Williams. Yeah. Okay.
I have told that before. It's a fun tidbit.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Doubtfire is part of the Charmed universe. We're agreed upon that, right?
They live down the street, yes.
Where was that episode where they have to save Mrs. Doubtfire from a demon?
Oh my gosh, I will love it.
Mrs. Doubtfire comes out with a magical artifact going, "Hello there!" and smashing into a demon's face.
And Sally Field just like, the whole time!
But essentially saying it to the charmed ones because they were neighbors for all the time.
It's like, you people were witches the
You
whole
were witches
time!
the whole time!
It was a run by vanquishing.
And little Mara Wilson's there being possessed by
my
the
gosh.
demon. Her head starts just spinning around.
No, she's a witch. She's what's her face?
Matilda.
Oh, she's Matilda, yeah.
It's like, Mommy, I've been a witch the whole time too.
It all comes together. Let's see. Reasons to watch. It's the first episode, which means the beginning of the Charmed Ones and the moment they get their powers is not only unforgettable, but one of the most significant moments in the history of the show. And as we mentioned earlier, poor Andy. He didn't last long, but he was still memorable for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Made his mark on charm, particularly with Prue. I really do wish they had kept him around a little bit longer. But,
You know,
bright side, it made Daryl the breakout
there
star
you
of the
go.
show.
Yeah.
And we got a little spotlight here on T.W. King, who played Andy, and Maryland Boy, and New York and California. He did Frasier, Dawson's Creek, and Sex and the City. And he was also a blink and you miss it role as an FBI agent in The X-Files. And at the time of this publication, he was working on General Hospital. Good for him.
Yeah, he was on that for a long time. He was also in Oppenheimer. He was.
Oh, was he?
Many people were in that, but I didn't see it, but he was in it.
Okay, because I'm like, I do not remember him at all.
It was probably a small part. I don't know if he had lines or anything, but he posted pictures.
Random guy in the back row drinking a
he posted
coffee.
pictures of himself on it, so I'm like, that's pretty cool. One thing about these pages that I think is very funny, how Prue is not so discreetly cropped out of this picture.
Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, it's so obvious. Like you could have picked any other picture, but you had to choose one where like there's three of them in there, and you just slice one off.
Was that like because of like image issues, or just somebody being really petty?
She hasn't been featured in these magazines at all yet, unless it's like DVD, like stuff that she can't control. So I think there's some rights things happening with these magazines because Trump is still on the air.
Yeah, because I remember that was part of the reason, like the comics, they couldn't use Shannon Doherty's face, and they had to give her a whole new appearance and all that stuff, right?
So this is our Julian McMahon feature, Devil Inside. This is very nice to have, especially after the loss of Julian.
Yeah, R.I.P.
And so it's a very short article, but it is very nice. It talks about... There's a lot about Fantastic Four, actually, in this article. There's one of the wedding dresses that you mentioned earlier, Phoebe. And it talks about how working on a green screen for a Fantastic Four was actually very easy because of his charmed experience. He gained the skills doing it. And I think it's interesting the way he describes it, because he says it kind of... The practice of doing green screen brings back like the childlike part of your brain where you can use imagination to act with ease. Like that's how it works. And I'm like, I can see that. Like as long as you know how to do it, it is not difficult. So he said had a lot of fun with the Fantastic Four director.
The Final Fantasy element. God, can you imagine Cole going out in a Final Fantasy type story?
It's like, Cloud, I have come for you. But like the director of the Fantastic Four, Tim Story, he became really good friends with him, and he had a lot of fun working with him. And he says he's thankful to Brad Kern for making Cole, like because Brad Kern's the one who created the character, and for allowing him the freedom to explore and allowing him to play and like, make some decisions about Cole for himself, which is good. Yeah, and then Nip Tuck, he talks about just a really nice career, and he has I liked his. You can see how his personality shone through here, and how much of a good person he was, even though it's such a small article. So,
All right, location. So this week we focus on the dining room and kitchen. This, although pleasant, was the biggest waste of space. They were like, "We've got 4 pages. What should we do with it?" Well, 6 pages. Um, they just kind of like fruit feed a lot around these rooms and try to make them sound more interesting. They invited us in. Piper is making hot chocolate. You sit down and smell an aroma of chocolate. Oh, why don't you try some of her pastry? So one interesting thing it talked about is, I guess, in the kitchen there's 2 stoves. There's like a filming stove and like there are
Mhm.
2 different stoves for filming based on location. That was about it. That was the only interesting thing.
Yeah, there's one on the wall, and then one on the wooden table on the counter. I think we can see them. You can, if you look close. I don't if I can show it. If you look close at the set, you can see them both. So there's the one back here, oven stove, and then there's another one right here on the table in the middle. That's like they sit on. And they put that on. There's like a burner there. So interesting. Yeah, and they talked about the dining room, the windows, the china, the fireplace, the kitchen, the laundry room, and the door to the basement, and the double sink with running waters and the cabinets. But that was really it. One thing about this article, Sean kind of got to it a little bit. It throws me off a bit because sometimes it's written as if it were like a real place where you'll meet the characters and, Piper will make you cookies and things. And then the other times they talk about the practicality of being a set and the real world implications of it all. So it was a little dizzying to keep thinking about which context we're talking about.
Yeah, it kept like essentially breaking the fourth wall of its own like text narrative. So
All right, so now we have Ask Brad, and this is anybody can say anything. I didn't get a lot out of this one. Sean never does, but I usually find some kind of nugget. This time, not so much.
I mean, there was the story about the questions about fan generated stories, and he basically like, legally I can't do that. And I was like, well, that's hard though, because I feel like fans have so many ideas. Like,
yeah.
And depending on the season of the show, sometimes the fan ideas are a bit more interesting than what's going on.
He says, like, if he's on the internet and he sees something that could be an idea, he's like, I have to stop reading. I can't look at it because then I can, like, it could influence me and I can't, so he just... I think it's interesting, though. He talks about Lois and Clark, and we just had the Superman movie recently, too. He's like, I was on Lois and Clark, and the executive producers decided to get Lois and Clark married and have Lois find out Clark's secret all in the same episode. That's exactly what the fans wanted, and no surprise, right after the show just fell off a cliff. So with all due respect to the fans who think they can write the show better, it's a different animal trying to keep a series on the air for so many years. So, and that's something that I think is true. Like, you can't give the fans what they want right away, because then what reason do they have to watch? So...
It's kind of funny how that happens with sitcoms and shows where it's like, you do the will they won't they for so long, and when you finally get them together, nobody cares. But if you start the show with them already together, people are invested with them.
It's
because like what was it? The Superman and Lois show, they had it to where they were married, they had kids, people watched it all the way through. But Lois and Clark, they get married and like, we're done.
It's so funny the way TV narratives and audiences work. All right, so now let's all move on to the Charmed Letters, our show and spell section. I mean, we have this star letter with some South Park, Piper and Leo. So there's that.
All right. Brothers in Arms, since this might be the last of the Charmed, wouldn't it be great to give Wyatt and Chris a spin-off? Not only are they good looking on TV, but they're also 2 very talented actors who have great brotherly chemistry. It would mean a lot to fans all over the world if this was considered. Ferulia Emmanuels, I apologize to you for mispronunciation, and the Netherlands. To which they said, What a great idea. Farulia.
Farajal. I think it's Farajal.
We'll be sure to pass your comments on. God, I remember everyone was talking about them doing a Wyatt and Chris spinoff.
They wanted that more than the Billie one. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would not have been too angry about that, because I kind of would have liked to have seen that whole... But it just kind of also would have felt like Supernatural, wouldn't have?
Part of me makes me wonder if that's kind of like how Supernatural came to be. It was like a fan of Charmed. Like, oh.
Yeah, no, I kind of wondered that too, because it felt not too far off. They just changed the dad to their mom or something like that.
True.
Or still the dad. I mean, Leo, but I'm just wondering if they would keep bringing back Wyatt's weird British accent he got anytime he turned evil.
Yes. Then we have some envelope art and a Charmed gallery. I kind of like this bottom envelope art. We see like some very iconic romantic moments from the show. So like we see Prue and Andy in Deja Vu all over again. We see Pepper and Leo kissing in Animal Pragmatism. We see Phoebe and Cole in Primrose. No, sorry, that's Power Outage. Yeah, so I don't know why I know what these episodes are based on these drawings. See, that's so crazy. Well, so we also have Piper and Leo here. I think that one is in P3H2O. So yeah, craziness. Do we like any of these other drawings?
I like the Phoebe Genie one. It's a fun style.
Mm-hmm. Kind of watercolor.
Yeah, I always kind of appreciate that episode for how just completely silly it is, and putting her in the old Barbara Eden type outfit was always cute. So this is a cute drawing.
Yeah, and the other two are nice. They're not anything wrong with them. They're just nice. Someone in school drawing them.
The one on top, that's supposed to be Paige?
There's a season 4 promo picture.
Okay.
Yeah. In her blue knit tank top. Yeah, and then you have Chris. So, ta-da! And that's it for this issue, pretty much. That's all we got. I do want to go over the put that in my canonical hat section.
Canonical.
I mean, it's not really canonical, but there's a debate about like how Kaley Cuoco's involvement went, that you guys mentioned.
Yes, there's just a few things I noticed. In the Kaley Cuoco article, she says that he's the one that kidnapped his sister when it should be her sister. Somebody said that. The Dogan kidnapped his sister, which, because talking about Billie, and they just got the pronouns wrong. And then there's on the Something Wicca This Becomes section, there's a Prue quote. Oh, the bottom one. It says, this is we made a song about this in the musical. They said, "What can't we do?" She says, "We are going to be careful. We're going to be wise, and we're going to stick together." That's what they have written here. But it's actually we're gonna. She kept saying we're gonna instead of going to be. We're gonna be careful. I know, such a nitpick.
Burn the editorial staff.
And then the last thing is in the source section. This is kind of the way I interpreted it, so I don't know, but she kind of made it sound like Cole and the baby / seer were new source entities and not the original source, because we know that is an energy that just keeps reincarnating, and she makes it sound like these are brand new sources, which I didn't like. That kind of misleading. She also didn't mention the 804 appearance, the Desperate House Witches appearance, and that aired by this time, so she missed a whole source appearance. So that's all I got for canonical. Next, we have our P is for poll.
Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll. Since this is all about kind of like the bye-bye Leo and honoring Leo, I thought it'd be fun to pick your favorite Leo episode. And there's 3 options. There's Season 4, Episode 17, Saving Private Leo. Season 7, Episode 9, There's Something About Leo. Or Season 8, Episode 10, Viacom Leos. Which ones are your favorites out of those?
Probably Via Con Leos. That was a fun one.
Saving Private Leo was the one with the his backstory, right?
Is with the war.
With the war. I kind of like that one personally, just because it felt like it was a really good delve into him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we just got a lot of vague things, but we actually got flashbacks and
It's
stuff
his
like
history.
that. And if I remember correctly, that's how it ended, with him going to the
reunion.
Reunion with the soldiers and all that stuff. And I thought that was a very touching moment where he got to be with his old comrades, even though he just thought he was his grandson or something like that.
Right, you got it. So I feel like that one will be the most popular among viewers, audiences. I think they'll pick the Saving Private Leo. I know that's one of Brian Krause's favorite ones because that's one of the first times he felt like he was getting real story. I think for me, I'm going to say the Vio con Leo season 8. Just because I think it is more emotional. I think it's more moving in a sense. Although the whole reunion part is pretty moving too, of Saving Private Leo. So, yeah, it's tricky. I think it's between those two. I don't think there's something about Leo will stand a chance. So, but yeah, I'll be curious to see how that goes next week. And that's it. That's all we got. So, Sean, tell us about our next issue.
Issue 10, we got Page Revealed, another exclusive with Rose McGowan. Kill Ian, Volume 1. So we sit down with Ian Spelling on the day he was vanquished by the Charmed Ones. Sam I Am. Scott Jake talks about his role as Page's White Lighter dad. And we get more Make Your Own Spellbook. Oh my god. Maybe we'll get all new pages and nothing that we've already seen.
I know, we set a spoiler.
Oh, yay, a necromancer profile.
Yeah. Cool, so that is it.
Side note, poor Page's dad.
Poor Page's dad.
He kept getting dragged back into the White Lighter light.
Yeah.
Come on, you drunk. Get over here. So, Ahab, tell us where we can find you. You have a podcast too, I believe, now, right? So tell us all the things.
That is correct. So I just recently started a podcast with my best friend Kira. We've known each other since middle school. And it's called Up Your Nerd Cred. And I like to say it's basically Kira finding a nerd topic and then unleashing my hyperfocus or hyperfixations upon the world. So we are getting ready currently to do a multi-episode about the Scarlet Witch.
Nice.
And her chaotic backstory and history and family life and everything else that happens with there. And yeah, you can also find us on Up Your Podcast or Up Your Nerd Cred podcast on Instagram, and my personal stuff is amdiaz_art on Instagram or amdiazart on pretty much everything else.
Nice, yay! I wanted to say "up your bum" because that was a line in a play I just saw.
You know, I warned Kira that might be something that could happen, and she's like, "Either way, we're probably gonna get followed."
Right. I love it. All right, so Sean, tell everyone where we can find you.
You can find me on Shawnee Havoc on TikTok and Instagram. I just posted footage from Lady Gaga, and I was told on TikTok I would never go to a satanic show, which made me laugh so much. I love this random person or any other random stuff I post. Or you could find us on Solving for X on YouTube or Instagram. Right now we're on episode 3 of season 4 of X-Men Evolution.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah, and you can find me at KGZ87 on Instagram, or follow this podcast at Words of the Witches on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that stuff. You can email wordsofwitchespod@gmail.com with questions. And yeah, we'll keep going, Spellworders. See you in 2 weeks for the next episode. Thanks for listening. Your destiny still awaits.